But the mother could not get it through the system. This is where the mothers or the fathers pull their hair out, because they're trying to explain to other people that they come up against a wall of silence. People who should say, yes, Mrs. Gregg, come and sit down, let's get the facts, let's interview this little girl, and we now need to go and interview other people, they never do it. And the case is stalled. Now, eventually she called us, and we've printed the story again. But in the meantime, something very significant has happened, is that whilst the case was going on to do with Holly, and Gregg's brother was found dead in a burnt-out car. And the claimed reason for that was smoke inhalation. Now, subsequently, the family have got hold of a copy of the autopsy, and the autopsy shows that he was severely beaten. So
is this a warning to her, do you think?
Well, no, because Holly says that at a particular time, Anne Gregg's brother walked in and saw her father abusing her. So it would appear that the brother was silenced. Now, this is an allegation at the moment.
I again have to say this is not the opinion of this station.
We need the police to investigate. And I think the police are going to have to investigate again, because that autopsy report is very clear. He died in a car, that the car was set on light, but when he was in that car, he'd already suffered injuries.
If you're going to kill yourself, you don't beat yourself up first.
Well, he'd also had alcohol in his stomach, whiskey, which he never drank, although he was a Scotsman.
Well, you don't have
a Scot.
You don't have to drink Scotch whiskey.
We're now probably, we've got people listening and thinking this can't be true, this can't be true. But if they log on to the UK column site, they can not only read the article, they can watch a video where a gentleman called Robert Green describes in great detail what actually happened.
ukcolumn.org is the site.
On a template basis...
And actually, people who go to the site can also ask for copies of this paper, can't they?
Yes, they can, if they phone us in the Plymouth office.
All the details
go to the website.
ukcolumn.org, okay.
Yeah. Now, on a template basis, that this lady wasn't able to get the authorities to take action on what had happened. And I can tell you without any problem, because Holly and her mother would approve of me telling you this, the physical proof that the girl was horribly abused and raped is there. So we're not just on one young girl's word, the physical damage to her is there, but I'm not going to be more specific on camera.
No, I don't think we need to be. Actually, I've got a very good text here from Gwen in Bradford, and she says, this is really a very good question, she says, was baby P left in place Oh, I cannot believe it, my screen has just gone blank. Okay, well, I can remember it. Was baby P left in place deliberately, 60-plus visits, in order for people to demand more social services intervention?
Well, I don't know, and I have to say I think about that case a lot, because obviously it was so horrible and so serious. But again, I say to you, say to the audience that what was going on? Have we really heard the truth about what was happening there? And why is it that we are seeing people in charge of social services on these vast salaries? Because in the old days, people who were doing the caring, many of them would say, I don't earn much, but I do it because I want to do it. Now, I'm not suggesting that social services workers should be on low or poor pay. But what I'm saying is we seem suddenly to have gone to the other extreme, where people in charge of the whole outfit are earning huge money. And to me, that says that their loyalty is to the person paying the paycheck and not to the people at the bottom of the pile. So I'm deliberately being a little bit guarded here, because I personally don't want to comment on baby P case. I have my own opinion. I haven't done a lot of research on it. But I would say we are not seeing the truth coming out on that case. Well, that's what I would say. Yeah.
I mean, the other thing that seems to be fairly self-evident in these cases that you've described at least, is that the parents have no fair way of getting justice.
They have no fair way of getting justice, and the children, this is the bit, when the children are old enough to speak for themselves, the children, again in here, I've got letters where the girl is saying, please can I go into court and speak to the judge? She wasn't even allowed to speak to the judge and give her own opinion of who she wanted to live with. And then you start to learn something else.
This is against all natural justice.
Absolutely, but the reason that you are sitting, and you are looking quite surprised at what I'm saying, right?
I'm horrified.
Well, the reason you're surprised is because you cannot read about it in the paper because it is all suppressed under the family court secrecy laws. This is how the dirty deed is being done. And I have come to the conclusion, and people out there can smile or laugh or take the mickey, I have come to the conclusion that the courts, the social services system set up with a secret court system was done deliberately to allow the state to take children away. Now, I'm going to come back to that, but I want to come onto this business that you have a mother who's discovered something's wrong. It can be the father. I'm going to stick with mothers because there's more of them come to me. Discovers something wrong, and then they can't get anything done about it. So I have another lady, she happens to be French, married to a Frenchman, but they were living in England. Mm-hmm. She discovers that he is abusing the two young girls. And I am going to say that you were able to see some of that evidence with me earlier. I can't share it with the audience. He was abusing the girls and taking photographs of them. And so eventually, when it got so bad, she went to social services. Social services become involved. And then what happens very quickly is that the mother is the problem, to the extent that they're talking about, can she have contact with her daughters? And this, of course, puts under extreme stress, and the stress of the husband abusing them. So eventually, this lady is getting depressed and ends up on medication, not surprising. So we had a situation where all a mother did was went to defend her daughters, and then the mother is treated as though she's an equal abuser.
It's counterintuitive, isn't it? She's the one complaining.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what subsequently happened was the mother, who's a very strong lady, regrouped herself, got herself in a better mental state, fought a case, got custody of the two girls in a London court case with permission to take them back to France. So she moved back to France with a big sigh of relief, thinking that they could now set up and start a new life together. After a couple of months, she got a knock on the door one day, and it's French social services. And they say that she's got to take the girls into a French court just to see the judge, to see that everything's okay. And the French lady said, I knew what was going to happen. The moment the girls were taken into that court building, they were snatched from her. They were held in a children's facility in France for a couple of weeks, and then they were handed over to English social services, who handed them back to custody of their father, who by that time was working with other paedophiles. Now, I will tell you something else on the unbelievable side. That man had in his possession a modified starting pistol with ammunition, which the mother reported to the police.
When you say modified starting pistol, you say
modified
to fire? To fire real bullets?
Correct. And
which the mother reported to the police?
In a file here, I have the receipt from the police for that firearm. Now, I think I'm correct in saying that offence alone, you are talking up to 5 years in prison.
I think it's mandatory, isn't it?
I thought it was mandatory, but not in this case, because no action was ever taken against the father. So a father who was an abuser, who photographed the girls, later joined with other friends, and that was known, but the girls were given back. So what you see is a vindictive, vicious twist that the innocent mother then becomes a victim, and she is victimized by the system. And she has not only now not got custody of her daughters, she doesn't even have visiting rights. She can't even see her daughters.
Does she know where they are?
She does know where they are.
Did she not go back to court and say, I want my daughters back?
She's been back to court repeatedly, and all that happens is they're led round in a circle. Because what happens, overwhelmingly, and if there are legal people out there, I know some of you are good because you're kind enough to work with us, but you find that the solicitors and barristers work behind the back of the family. And what do they do? Well, what they seem to do is find an excuse for a follow-up court case and a follow-up court case. And each court case, they're netting 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pounds.